Hi guys, I'm Zuhra from Group 9 and this video is about Indonesia as an instant noodle industry. You guys must be familiar with instant noodle, right? But before that, do you guys know about instant noodle origin? Instant noodle was invented in 1958 by Momofuku Ando, a Taiwanese-Japanese businessman. At that time, he was trying to help the food shortage in Japan after the World War II. He was inspired to invent instant noodle since it takes less wheat rather than bread. The noodles, named chicken ramen, were first sold sealed in a plastic pouch to keep out moisture and air. Nowadays, instant noodles have become everybody's daily food because it is cheap, delicious, and easy to make. Many companies from different countries started to produce their own noodles. Samyang Food is a well-known South Korean ramen company and is well recognized for its wide selections of instant noodles, particularly its fiery bulldog ramen named hot chicken flavor ramen. People who tried the merciless spiciness of Samyang ramen and posted videos of their terrible culinary adventures on various social media platforms helped Samyang ramen acquire fame. YouTubers established the Fire Noodle Challenge, which has subsequently gained international acclaim. Inevitably, youths also explore other Korean foods such as tteokbokki, bibimbap, kimchi, jjajangmyeon, and others. People started to open Korean restaurants, many of which provide hanbok, traditional Korean attire, for visitors to try. Without being realized, Samyang promotes Korean taste and indirectly opens the door to other Korean cultures such as movies, songs, and even skincare. We doesn't realize that instant noodle is actually a tool to promote a country's culture as Samyang does to South Korea. Now, Indomie from Indonesia serves the same function to promote Indonesian culture, starting from its gastronomy aspect. In this video, we will touch on how Indonesia utilized its instant noodle industry, especially the Indomie brand, as one of its soft power. In 2019, Indonesia consumed 12.52 billion servings of instant noodles nationwide, according to a report by the World Instant Noodles Association. It is clear that instant noodles are a major business for Indonesians, given that their country has the second highest demand behind China. Indonesia's instant noodle industry history can be traced back to the first launch of Supermie, which was first debuted in 1968. Nowadays, there are many instant noodle brands, but the all-time favorite among Indonesians nevertheless is Indomie. The words Indo and Me are combined to form the acronym Indomie. The words instant noodles and Indomie are now used interchangeably. Indomie first appeared in Indonesia in 1972 and introduced the Indomie kuah kaldu ayam. Indomie products are increasingly popular among Indonesians when it launched the Indomie mie goreng variant in 1983. The flavor for mie goreng was invented by Nunuk Nuraini. The variant was inspired by the traditional Indonesian dish of the same name. The 2017 poll by Kantar World Panel, a global research company that studies customers' purchasing habits, indicates that Indomie has maintained its positions as the leading brand in Indonesia for the past 5 years. After being the only brand to receive 2 mentions in the most recent list of the best instant noodles in the world, published by New York Magazine in 2021, Indomie has cemented its positions as Indonesia's most popular export good. Indomie effects even set foot in other countries. A restaurant serving only Indomie cuisine exists in neighboring Malaysia. Its menu, called Indo Bowl, features dishes like Indomie topped with salted egg chicken or rib eye. Indomie also has been transformed into a toasty by a small coffee establishment in Australia. Grey Lines, a retail shop in Australia, even made a scented candle with Indomie scent in 2019. In Nigeria, Indomie is undoubtedly popular. The term Indomie is even synonymous with instant noodles. They also have an animated TV series named The Indomie Tables, which tells about superheroes that parallel to Indomie nutrients. These effects of Indomies are proof that Indomie acted as Indonesia's power to promote its economic and culture.
There are various reasons for Indonesia to market their instant noodles industry based on opportunity and prospects that are available for them to monopolize before it became a popular trend in the world. The first one would be the consumer's demographic, and the second one would be the future prospects of the Indonesian instant noodles industry. First, let's talk about consumer's demographic. The demographic market in Indonesia itself is made up primarily of young people who have rising wages, rising purchasing power, changing consumer preference, growing urbanization, and rising middle-class population. These elements are what fuel the Indonesian instant noodles market expansion, as instant noodles are clearly the cheapest choice out here. This trend is the same in other countries too, especially the developing countries. In addition, the quick pace of life and evolving food taste, both of which support the expansion of the instant noodles market. The various flavors that were introduced also led to its popularity among the people. This showed that instant noodles would automatically be a choice and close to the heart of the people based on their demographic. The next one is the future prospects of the Indonesian instant noodles industry. During the pandemic, lockdown forced people to stock meals, including instant noodles. Global instant noodle consumption reached till 116.56 billion, with Indonesia ranking second, accounting for 12.6 billion servings of or 10.84% of global consumptions in 2020, according to the Indonesia Exim Bank Institute, an Indonesian export financing agency from the World Instant Noodle Association. Aside from domestic consumption, Indonesia's total instant noodle exports amounted to $271.34 million in 2019, a 22.96% rise over the previous year. According to the most recent data, the total export from January to September 2021 was $185.04 million. Malaysia, Australia, Singapore, United States, and Timor-Leste are the countries where Indonesia has successfully exported instant noodles. The worldwide instant noodles market was valued at $51.64 billion in 2021, and it is expected to increase to $81.84 billion by 2029, from $54.60 billion in 2022. This shows that even after the societal constraints of the pandemic ended, the demands of instant noodles in the world are still in a huge number.
Over the years, globalization has boosted the influence of Indomie products as soft power means of Indonesia. Indomie has been sold not only in local shops but also promoted beyond the border. Today, this small packet of happiness has been exported around the world to more than 90 countries. For example, it has been internationally traded to Malaysia, Australia, India, Saudi Arabia, Kenya, Croatia, and many more. Eventually, the export of Indomie has shown the growing influence of this brand in the heart of many countries. In support of this statement, Indomie has been categorized by the LA Times food columnist Lucas Kwan Peterson in the LA Times rankings column as the best instant noodle in the world. He stated that the ingredients used such as sweet ketchup manis, oniony oil, chili sauce, chicken powder, as well as fried shallots are being heavily mixed. People will for sure want and will eat Indomie daily. Furthermore, this umami savory flavor that comes with a block of dry fried noodles has increased the export of Indonesian food. The total export of Indonesia instant noodle has increased from only $220.7 million in 2019 to $271.34 million in 2020. It shows an increase of 22.96% year-on-year between 2019 to 2020. Despite the internal factors such as the flavor, there are some external factors that spur the growth of Indomie. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic has been a blessing in disguise incident to the instant noodle industry. If the other sectors such as services and tourism have been falling apart, instant noodles industry maintain their excellent performance. This is because people have watched more TV and other digital entertainment which lead to the rise of instant noodle consumption. With the open sea routes and transportation caused by globalizations, there has been an increasing demand for Indonesian instant noodles such as in Timor-Leste, Taiwan, Cambodia, Madagascar, and Vietnam. These countries were among the non-traditional market. Therefore, it indicates that future market prospects are expanding not solely for instant noodles but also for other processed Indonesian food products. Indomie also gains a comparative advantage when exporting and manufacturing instant noodles outside Indonesia. As for now, Indomie already has 16 manufacturing factories all over the world. This comparative advantage allows Indofood to sell products and services at less prices than competing companies, resulting in higher sales margin and revenue growth. Indomie globalization's idea can be said as unique. This is due to the fact that Indomie comes with different flavors in each region it is manufactured. For example, Egypt has baladi and sausage flavors, while Croatia has special chicken and basic curry flavors. Baladi, which means local in Arabic, shows the integration of Indomie into Egyptian local taste buds. The diversity of flavors in different countries shows how globalized and open Indofood company is. It is good to say that Indomie intends to provide the Egyptians and Croatians the feeling of home when savoring it. In another way, the people of Indonesia and these countries are globally interconnected through the instant noodles. Summing up, Indomie products have been traded throughout the world because of globalization. Globalization provides easy and open access for everyone to taste the finger-licking Indomie. The blending of Indomie flavor into other countries' local taste buds has made it more acceptable and universal. Thus, it can be said that the slogan used by the Indonesian Export Financing Institution (LPEI), which are #Lokal yang Mendunia and Salam Export, are a success.
The popularity of Indofood's Indomie brand has allowed the company to extend into markets as diverse as Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America. Many people and number of nations believe that Indomie is really produced in their country because of the consistent marketing and brand building efforts. Indomie products have a lengthy history in the country and hold a sizable percentage of the home market. In areas, the world instant noodles has been replaced with Indomie due to the popularity of the brand. In addition, shoppers in many parts of the globe will know Indomie brand. The advertising slogan, Indomie Seleraku, is meant to introduce customers immediately to the brand with the message that Indomie is Indonesian instant noodles, including Nusantara flavors. The Indofood company's 3A marketing approach includes making sure that customers can easily locate and afford Indomie goods no matter where they are, that they have a pleasant flavor, and they are readily available for them. Specifically, the unit cost is within customer price range. 18 nations throughout the globe have been exposed to Indomie's overseas advertising. As a result of consistent advertising and promotion, Indomie has gained substantial brand recognitions in several nations. When people think about Indomie, the company's name immediately comes to mind, claiming that Indomie is a staple food in Indonesia and that is an instant noodle characteristic of Indonesia and flavored with Nusantara or Indonesia's own flavors. The objective of the Indonesian government is to increase international tourism and expose foreign audiences to the country's rich cultural heritage or our rich flavors of food. If gastro-diplomacy is utilized as a platform to foster bilateral and multilateral collaboration, as well as friendship, peace within the country, and local development, then it might have long-term effect on international relations. There are a lot of flavors of Indomie, but I only brought 3 from back home. This is rasa kari ayam, but the pop mie version, it's in a cup. And we have kari ayam. This is my favorite. No one can top this. And I have the original flavor of mie goreng. There are a lot more flavors such as rendang, soto mie Aceh, sambal mata, rica-rica, and etc. This is the epitome of success within the Indomie brand because it mastered the art of gastro diplomacy by including the flavors of authentic Indonesian food into a instant food. Indomie's fame has spread beyond the borders of the country. This is because Indomie has received reputable certifications like ISO and Halal, which facilitated all of their growth in other countries. The need to mass produce the instant noodle has skyrocketed in the recent years, and it's been said that it has 97.46 billion packaged throughout the world. The objective of gastro diplomacy is definitely being succeeded with the distribution of Indomie.
Indomie definitely has impact to Indonesia, and this can be seen through 3 classes, which is political, economy, and social. The first one will be politics. The political impacts of Indomie to its domestic politics can't be denied. The notion of a country allows Indomie to identify their products with a greater commitment and sense of belonging to the nation of Indonesia. Indomie intends to incorporate their product into a variety of symbols linked with the concept of Indonesia. However, Indomie offers a different way of gastro-nationalism. This is because it has zero space to romanticize in the process of making instant noodles. Hence, it's difficult to instill a feeling of history and passion, but since it's close to the demographics, it became a nationalism symbol. Under the context of international politics, Indonesia has used Indomie as a tool for diplomacy, especially towards countries that are facing food security issues, such as Africa countries. Indonesia has used economic diplomacy by creating instant noodle factories in numerous African nations in an effort to improve food security. Next, economically, Indomie has become one of the main exporter income for Indonesia. This is because big countries such as China, India, Japan, USA, and Brazil are the top importer of Indonesia instant noodle. It also boosts Indonesia's palm oil industry indirectly, as it is one of the main ingredients for instant noodles. Lastly, social impact. Indomie definitely have a huge impact towards social life in Indonesia, as we could see the sight of Indomie as a product is everywhere and across all social class. According to the Indonesia Health Ministry, 60% Indonesian use 1 to 6 packs of instant noodles weekly. Indonesian also put Dr.Norafidah, the creator of Indomie flavor, as a respected public figure. This can be seen as her death in 2021 were mourned by the whole country and reached to the foreign news site.
On the whole, Indonesia's instant noodle industry indeed has become a vital element of soft power to ensure Indonesia's prominent position in the eye of the world. Overall, this video has examined the history of instant noodle product in Indonesia, the target market, and the reason Indonesia promotes its instant noodle. Not only that, this video also have covered the market brand strategies of Indomie and also touches upon the influence of globalization in Indomie in order to comply with the globalization and sovereignty subject. Gastro diplomacy upheld by instant noodle companies such as Indomie has strengthened the relationship between Indonesia and other countries in the world. By promoting instant noodle through exporting has indirectly showcased the national heritage of Indonesia. Even though Indonesia has been globalized, the sovereignty of Indonesia remains the same. This is due to the fact that Indonesia still has full authority over its product and the originality of the taste. In a nutshell, the instant noodle industry in Indonesia is in charge of the future great development of Indonesia, as there is always constant demand for this universal cuisine.